What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Halle Show. No, I'm just playing, y'all. The
What's up?
Unchurch'd Podcast is back.
Yeah, we back, and we're excited to be back. This is where church mics are unmuted, and my name is D. Fields. For those that don't know me, and this is my beautiful wife. Tell
Halle
me.
Fields. I thought he was going to say my name, but
all right.
okay.
Really, honestly, we're just really glad to be back, and it's been a long time. I think the last episode that we did was a little bit after the pandemic was kind of ending, and then we took a break from it, and really we just kind of felt pressed, and everybody's really been talking to us about it. Like, come back. I think people just like to hear us tell our own business and talk bad to each other and argue back and forth on a podcast, but this podcast, really, for those who don't know, is really geared towards the behind the scenes. We're pastors of a church in Kansas City, Refuge, Kansas City, and everybody gets to see us on Sunday. Everybody gets to see how we operate every single week. But there is a deeper part about what we discuss, how we conversate, how we interact with each other, how we are as a married couple, and then just the people that we connected to as well. We want to give everybody the opportunity to see that there's more to us than just being a pastor and first lady. And there's more to church than just what you hear on Sundays. And so we're excited about this. Last season, we started out with some great episodes. We talked about being snaked by friends. We talked about all kind of great things. And we ended it off really kind of talking about our marriage and where we were. What year was that? 2020? 2020?
I think it was.
It was 2020.
Yeah.
And so it was the beginning of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, we've had some drastic changes since then.
Yeah.
What's been going on?
Well, what was that, right after the pandemic or
Yeah.
during the pandemic? We got pregnant
Yeah,
and
we did. Yeah.
had a baby boy.
Yeah.
So so yeah, baby Jet is a toddler Jet now.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
one. So we are learning this thing. It has been a true journey being a mother. I never expected it to be like this. You know how you really pray for something, then you get it. Like, this is what it was
Right.
gonna be like. But it's truly a blessing, though.
Right. I think kind of tell them, I guess, about our journey towards getting pregnant, and having Jet. I mean, a little bit before that, because I know it wasn't easy for us to get to that place. It wasn't like we did plan it. We was really trying. I was trying.
Yeah.
I mean, Halle has an app on her phone, and she was like, "Do it. We got to do it tonight. we got to do it tonight because tonight is the night."
Yes, I was doing all of my research.
Right.
So before we actually got pregnant with Jet, we had one miscarriage and two chemical pregnancies. And chemical pregnancies are basically like when the egg and the sperm meet, but nothing happens. So your body reacts like you're pregnant, but you're really not. So you can get a positive pregnancy test, but it doesn't mean the pregnancy is going to be successful. Eventually, like, you'll bleed out and your period will come on as normal. So we had that happen twice. And then after that, I had a miscarriage. We went to the doctor, and I don't think they seen anything in the sac. The sac was empty. And we were about like 6 weeks.
We were.
And like a lot of our friends and family knew at that point.
Was
Like
that
our
when we was in that basement
inner circle
at that hospital?
Yes, it was a very traumatic experience.
We was in a
We
basement.
were like, they had like special rooms built because of COVID. They didn't have like space or whatever, so they like made up some stuff all the
Right.
way downstairs. Felt like I was going in the dungeon. I was losing my mind, hyperventilating, like, get me out of here. It was hot. But after that happened, obviously that was very traumatic. My friends, we were all emotional about it. And then guess what? A few months later, we actually ended up getting pregnant again.
Right.
And this time it was successful.
Yeah, and we had a great doctor too because we were already kind of on edge. I didn't want you going through that again, and I didn't feel like dealing with that again. And so we were already kind of on edge, but we had a good doctor that kind of helped guide us through what we needed, and you did a lot of research.
Yeah.
And I think that's good for a lot of married couples and those who are, young mothers, really to do their research, especially young Black mothers.
Yeah.
To really, we learned that because a lot of young Black mothers don't realize a lot of the health conditions that can come along with being pregnant, and some doctors won't tell you. You got to research and figure it out on your own. And so
because technically, I guess if you don't have like more than 3 miscarriages, you're not really considered high risk.
Right.
So they won't do everything that they would do for somebody that's considered high risk.
Right.
You know, even if it is your first baby, I say make them do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Make them do all the tests.
Yeah.
Just because you just never know.
Yeah, you made them do all of it. So I guess every day out after we found out that you were pregnant, then we had to make a big decision because the doctor wanted us for you to take shots every day for the whole pregnancy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Tell them, I guess, what was that for? I guess I can't remember really what it's about.
They were blood thinners. We started with Lovenox, and I cannot remember what the name is that we ended with, but we switched over to a different one towards the end. But the Lovenox is a blood thinner, and it was supposed to prevent blood clots.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, forget it. Until I got I went and got a third opinion from a different doctor, and she told me that the shots would be more so for me to be alive. And I was just like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and get them because I can't risk my own life.
Because it's a story for those people who don't know. There's a story my grandmother and my mother had when my mother was being born. My grandfather had to make a big decision on who to save. Was it going to be my granny or my mother? Yeah. And so I think that was kind of a conversation that we had talked about.
Yep.
Because I mean, that was weird for me because I'm like, I do want a child, but at the same time, I'm like, I can get another child. We can have another kid. I'm not trying to be single again.
Right.
I ain't trying to meet nobody else's family. So we definitely went with the shots, and you bossed them out big time for real.
Yeah, it was a journey. Like, we would travel, had to take the shots with us, get ice in the hotel room so I could ice the spots first, and he used to give me the shots. So, like, I couldn't do it myself.
I was stabbing you a little harder when I was mad.
I could not give them to myself. But shout out to the people that give themselves injections. That's you real strong because I couldn't do it.
But anyway, fast forwarding, we ended up having Jet October 1st, 2021.
Yep.
And so he's healthy. He's strong. He's fighting. He is the ruler of the kingdom right now. Prince Jet. What's your nickname for him? Snuggie, Tuda Bear.
His name changes like every 2 months for me.
So, yeah, and it's good. And so now we just kind of where we at now. And now we're really ready to walk back into this whole Unchurch'd podcast thing. And this first kind of comeback season that we're going to be doing really is going to be diving into our marriage and kind of things we're learning and growing and developing in. We're going to be having guests and people to kind of help us guide through this. And so we're really excited about it, especially being married. We're going on 4 years now.
Yep.
And so we've learned a lot. Even from the last time y'all talked to us, and we talked to you all on our last podcast, we've learned a lot since then. We've been through a lot since then, being pregnant, having a kid, all of that stuff changes. Your entire idea and the whole dynamic of what marriage is really about. And so we're really excited about it. There's some topics that we're going to be bringing up about, just what does it mean to be married, the idea of marriage, jealousy. And I'm really excited about it to come from a man's perspective to husbands. And I know you're excited about coming from the women's perspective to wives. I mean, what are some things I guess you'll be talking to them about this season that we'll be talking to them?
Definitely wasn't ready for that question. Don't know why he asked me that, but
I told you this question in the car before we got here.
But definitely gonna be focusing in on being humble, as wives, because sometimes we can really think we know it all. Like, I feel like that's something that men
Can we get the applause
say.
on that, please? I mean, come on now.
I feel like that is something that men always drive to the ground. Like, she just thinks she know everything. I do feel like sometimes, and it kind of is true though, like, even if we do know it, I feel like that if we have a humble approach towards it, it could be better received.
Yeah, because everything is all about approach. Because a lot of times you be right. You be right about 9 times out of 10 about what you say.
Yeah.
But then I'll be like, good and well, the way you said it to me, I'm not listening to nothing you saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's dope. Well, I think my biggest thing for husbands is really learning the dynamic of understanding from the opposite end. My hardest struggle has always been, and don't even start going into it, but my hardest struggle has always been trying to communicate so that you can understand, not so that I can get my point across.
Amen.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's my biggest thing is always trying to find out, make myself and discipline myself to the point where my communication to my wife or just to people in general, I have to understand, and we as a man have to understand, you're not always talking to another man. You're not always talking to somebody who has the same emotional, stability as you or capability as you.
Also, not preaching to the church.
You think
Amen.
What?
Give us pause.
I don't preach to you. So
the other day, he was going in so much. I was just like, okay, this is lecturing me. This is not church. This is not church.
The thing about what people got to understand about our marriage is this is already ridiculous because I'm a pastor of people, so I'm up preaching every Sunday. But she's a daycare teacher, a preschool teacher, and an educator as well every single day. So from 6:30 in the morning to 5:30, she is going in with the kids. And as soon as 5:45 hit and the last kid is gone, she comes upstairs and tries to go off on me like I'm one of the preschool kids. So that's the issue. So I mean, that's what I think. Some of the things we'll talk about this kind of time around is what does communication look like? What does that look? And that's big for me because, like you said, I mean, I'll admit it. I'll admit it that there are times that I do get to preaching to you.
Amen.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm preaching. It's not as gospel when I'm preaching it to her because I get a little upset. But I do get a little preach to you, and I get. But understanding how to communicate so that a woman can understand where you're coming from and what they're dealing with, because at the end of the day, I don't think that your point even matters if the person doesn't understand it. Whatever you've thought in your head and whatever you figured out, none of that stuff really even matters if the person who you're talking to really doesn't understand it at the end of the day. We can go back and forth all night. Yeah. We've argued till 5 a.m. sometimes. Because what we do believe in our household is we don't go to bed we don't let the sun go down on our wrath. So we'll stay up till and if you haven't done that yet, you really don't know what real marriage is about. Yeah. We don't turn over and go to bed with anger, upset, or mad at each other about certain things. We're going to deal with that right then in that moment so that we don't have to go to bed with it on our heart. We go ahead and deal with it. So you've talked to me till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty of times. And so, but I'm excited about that. I really am excited about this season as well. And then we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to go into some deeper stuff, like our personal stuff, some things we've dealt with, with our ministry and our businesses and things of that nature, things that people really kind of been wanting to hear our side of the story. And we're not only here to defend ourselves at all, but we're just here to just tell what's up.
Just talk. Once the door is open, can't do anything but walk through it.
Where did you get that from?
I don't know. Needs to be an African proverb.
No, so we'll talk about a little bit of that kind of stuff, and I'm really excited about it. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this, honestly. It's giving us a place to express what's on our minds, and I think a lot of people want to hear like what's on our minds, like not trying to say that in a way that, makes us, boost us up. But I feel like a lot of people want to know what's on our mind because a lot of people have been invited into parts of our lives, whether it be true or false, in ways that we didn't open the door. So a lot of times we sit back and we don't say anything. So I think that this is giving us that moment to be able to say everything that we need to say, everything that they need to hear from us, and we've been quiet for a long time about a lot of stuff. Yeah. So it's like at some point, we're going to talk about it. Yeah. But what I do love about us and I love about just our relationship is that we make those decisions for ourselves. Right. We don't allow other people who are negative on the outside influence when we speak. Right. We decide together. We're not going to say anything, or we decide together, okay, we are going to address it. I love that about us. I think that makes us really strong.
No, baby, you brought up a good point because I think, too, what a lot of people, let's just unmute the church mics for a minute. What a lot of people really don't understand is that people are going to talk. You know what I'm saying? People are going to say what they got to say. People are going to have their opinions about things. But at the end of the day, I don't care if it's a marriage, a friendship, or a relationship, you don't allow what people say on the outside determine the energy or the vibe or the feel that you have on the inside, you know, and that was something I think that we're really blessed about is that we can go through whatever, hell and high water. And there's some things we have been through, whether it be our own personal fault, our own personal flaws, or it may just be things that people are just talking negative about. But when we get to that address at home, it's like, we don't care about what nobody else is saying.
Exactly. Still living. Life still has to go on. And another thing, you know, that I just want to focus in on is our community too.
Right.
I think, you know, even for people who are married, like if you don't have a community of people that are around you that support you and really love you, whether they are single, whether they're married, whether they're engaged, it's kind of hard for you to be successful because sometimes you do need a little bit more than your spouse.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
Like we know we're going to be there for each other, but sometimes you need to hear somebody else is rooting for you. Somebody else believes in you. Somebody else got your back. Yeah. So I think that our community, it's almost like we live in a whole different world.
Right.
Because a lot of people take Facebook very serious, like social media in general, but Facebook is like the messiest one.
Weird.
So I feel like a lot of people, they take Facebook. I learned when I deactivated my page when we had a situation, and I deactivated my page, and I realized like this is not even real. Like if I'm not logged in, I literally cannot see anything that anybody is saying. So it really brought me to a new place. Like,
and then remember, everybody kept coming to you trying to tell you stuff.
Yeah, like trying to show me stuff or whatever. And eventually they got the picture. Like she really does not care because it was like I still have my Instagram, and it was like nobody on there was talking about it. Half of the people on there didn't have a clue because most people don't have Facebook. And now I see why. Right. But it's just crazy to me that it's like it really is like. It's just not real, you know?
Right. The community is big. And one thing you said is that I think people are scared to tell, especially new marriages, new relationships. People are scared to have that conversation with the person you're with, whether it's your spouse. But one of the biggest things that I tell husbands, especially new husbands, is that your wife can't be your therapist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your husband can't be your therapist. Yep. You need somewhere outside of the battle zone that you can go to, have a conversation, sit down, and let somebody from the outside looking in. Because I think our marriage is great. We have a great marriage. We have a great relationship. We have a great bond, but it's also connected to the people that we have around us. Yeah. Like our relationship and our marriage is not predicated on that, but the people around us strengthen that. You know, it strengthens who we are. Yeah. Because if you are not feeling it, or you going through something, I know that you have a community of people, of women, my mother, your mother, your family that you can go to and lean on. And the same thing with me, that it gives us that escape to say, it's not that I don't trust you or don't love you, but you give me the space to be able to go somewhere else and get rejuvenated. Because somebody on the outside looking in is going to tell me the truth. Yeah. My mama going to tell me, dear, you know you're wrong for that. Yeah. You know, and the same thing with you. They're going to say, hey, come on, Halle, you tripping. You need to chill out on that. So everybody needs that community, not just married people, but everybody needs that type of community that they can run to and talk to and have a good conversation with them about it.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
That's good. Well, I guess the last thing before we go off, because we got so much that we're going to talk about throughout the rest of this season, and I'm excited about the guests we're going to have on, the people we're going to have on, and all of that stuff like that. And we're not just going to be talking about marriage every time, but, you know, we are going to, relationships is everything, you know. It's a currency of your life. It's a currency, like relationship. It's going to get you somewhere. So a lot of the things we will talk about, you know, we're going to talk about church stuff. We're going to talk about, you know, things people believe in church. Why don't people go to church anymore? You know, why people, we talked about that a little bit last time, but we're going to get a little deeper in that, have some guests on that don't go to church, you know, get their opinions about it, get understanding, have a little, you know, conversation about a lot of things. So we're excited about it. But I guess before we end, I guess we can ask a little spicy question for one another. Now, you wasn't prepared for this one. I purposely did not prepare you for this one so that I can get your raw answer.
What?
You nervous?
Yeah.
Before we started this, she literally looked at me and, what did you say you was going to ask me on the podcast?
I'm not going to say it.
No, go ahead.
So how do you feel about me?
We're not going to get into that, because our new team has already told us we're not going to be arguing back and forth for an hour on this thing. But I guess the question, we can ask each other, and I'll let you go. You want to answer first?
So you know the question.
Yeah, I know the question.
That's not fair, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You got a question? No, you come up with your own question. I'll come up with my own question.
Just go ahead with the question.
Okay.
We're going to just stick to what you said.
Okay, good. That's what I like. So I guess the question, I guess we can ask one another and just kind of look at is if you could look at your life, yourself personally, on a personal level, what is one thing that you can say has made you, out of almost 4 years, what is one thing that you can say has made you really just stay in this marriage? Because, you know, people don't make it. I know marriages that have ended in year 2, year 3. I mean, we're going into year 4 now. And so not that we got it all together, but with all the type of crap we've been through, how bad of a husband I've been, you know, just, I mean, all the things that we've dealt with, inwardly, you know, externally, inwardly as well. What is something that you could say, I guess, has made you just want to say, you know what, I'm going to stick around?
You want my honest answer?
Well, I don't want you to get on here and lie. I don't want you to get on here and lie.
If I could really say my real answer.
Be honest now. Don't let the devil.
It would definitely be your mom.
Oh my God. Are you out of your mind? What?
If I had a number one answer, that would be my answer. My other answer
No.
I have
Back
two
up.
answers
Wait, no.
I have two answers. You have to let me answer honestly.
Okay, well then number one. So my mom.
You didn't give me an opportunity to explain.
Okay, explain.
Okay, the reason why I said your mom, first off, we're best friends.
That's
and
good.
we have matching tattoos.
Okay.
Mommy-daughter tattoos. And one day she told me, you know, even if he's my son, if he makes you cry so bad that you cannot sleep at night, you need to leave him. Mm-hmm. But when you leave him, you have to be okay with seeing him with somebody else. Mm-hmm. When she said that to me, I always think about it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've ever been ready to see you with somebody else.
You're nuts. You are. So I'm a prisoner. See, it don't even matter. I'm just in prison right now.
I hope that's not a bad answer.
No, that's a good answer though.
Because I think that puts things into perspective.
Talk about that a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
I just feel like that's something that you don't think about when you're ready to, when you're in a fight or you're in an argument, because that's just a moment. Mm-hmm. You know, some stuff, you know, you can get over. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you don't try to fight through it,
right,
you may risk it all and mess up on some, what do they call it now? What do they call it?
What?
You know what word I'm looking for. What do they call it?
They might mess up on a...
Oh, gosh.
Anyway.
It's going to come back to me.
Yeah.
But they may mess up basically on the situation that they're in, like our relationship. Mm-hmm. And in the future, be looking back like, you know, I could have just worked through that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't worth me having to go find somebody else. It wasn't worth him having to go find somebody else. Mm-hmm. We could have worked through it. It's fumbled. It's fumbled.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking
you
about.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
When people say, I can't believe you fumbled me.
Oh.
Yeah, like you fumble in a bag or something.
Okay.
Like you fumbled the relationship. You fumbled the person.
Yeah,
you seen that post? Somebody
said,
I can't believe I fumbled a pastor.
No.
It took me out. But that's the word I was looking for. It's like, I just feel like that's one thing that you don't really think about. Like when you're upset in that moment, you're not worried about that person going to be with somebody else. You're just upset and just wanting to really want to get some space. Not that you really want to be done, but some people move too quick and just done. And then.
Yeah. I heard somebody say something powerful. I was listening to another podcast and I really wish I could remember so I can give them their credit for it. But somebody has said, a lot of marriages don't need divorce. They just need to change the way they dance.
I like that.
And I think that's powerful because what we don't realize is sometimes you just need to step back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean, like, I think when especially when an argument or a situation or a season, because what people realize, it's not always like a moment. Like, sometimes you be dealing with things for weeks. We can deal with things for weeks. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that we need a divorce.
Right.
We just need to step back. Get your personal counseling, your help, your therapy, the things you need. I need to get my help, my counseling, my therapy. And then we just need to come back and try to do the tango again. Yeah. But if we stop the music and stop dancing and we just say, you know what, we're finished with this, then like you said, we miss out on a big future. Yeah, that's dope. So, okay,
Did
so
you say your answer?
no, so my mom is the only answer you had?
No, that wasn't the only answer, but I just felt like that was really
That's a
important
good
to
answer.
me. I feel like that was really important to me.
That's a good, and I think it's important for, and that's another conversation for another day. I think that the big thing is what we should talk about in a moment, you know, in another episode, is how do you as a woman develop that relationship with that your spouse's family, because that's big, and a lot of people do not have what you and my mom have, and I think that's been critical to our. My mom takes your side, and it's unbelievable how bad she takes your side.
Cue the booze.
But they don't have that. She does take your side, but she knows I can handle that too. She knows I can handle it. So. But I think before we wrap this up, I think my what just has made me stay is really your resilience, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's your mom. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. No, it's your resilience, though. Seriously. Tomato. You know, when I think about being married for 4 years, almost 4 years, and then dating for 8 years, being almost together for over 10 years now, and I think about how you've transformed your life for me. You were not worried about dating a pastor, or don't do that. That is so annoying. That is so irritating. You weren't worried about dating a pastor or being a first lady. You wasn't one of those, I want to be a first lady, want to be a first lady, want to be over women's groups. You wasn't doing that. And I really just kind of like kidnapped you from the life you were living, and you literally changed everything for me. And then on top of that, I wasn't ready for all the things that I walked into as well. The pressures that I had, the popularity, the new things that I was dealing with. I wasn't ready for that. And so because I wasn't ready for that, you sat back while I got whooped, while I got talked bad about, people talk negatively about me. You seen me sacrifice everything for people, and you still remain the same. That's what makes me stay in this, is that, you know, for me to know that you've always been there and will always be there, it's not even a thought in my mind. I'm not going to figure out, I'm not trying to meet nobody else's family. I'm not trying to teach nobody else this way. I'm not trying to, no, that's not happening. And so no matter what happens, we're not getting a divorce. If you move out, I'm going to be packing my bags with you. I'm asking where we going. So it just is what it is now. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah. I think this season going to be pretty dope.
Oh, that's a good start.
Well, you just want me to talk so good about you. Come on. All right.
Give me my roses while I'm here.
Girl, please. Anyway, so everybody, we really appreciate you all. We definitely want you all to listen, tune in, share, tell everybody about what we're going to be doing. It's exciting. It's an exciting time. We're going to have some exciting guests with us. The Unchurch'd Podcast is back, and we're excited about it. We're going to be consistently bringing you all some good content as well. We're partnering with Viewpoint Visuals as well. They're really helping us out in moving this podcast forward and just helping us produce it. And we got our team. Y'all know how our team is. They always on top of our head and making sure things are working out for us. And we're excited about it. So until next time, we'll see you all soon on the Unchurch'd Podcast.
See you later.